Hey everybody, Chris the old ass retro gamer here. I'm gonna do another pickup video today. Wow, I've been busy ever since Gen Con. Damn.
Oh my damn.
I've kind of gone a little nutty. A lot of things just kind of lined up in a specific order that allowed me to do a little more than I'm used to. And I was able to pick up some things that I've been really looking forward to buying for a long time. And I couldn't be more thrilled. My collection is starting to look a little crazy. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Starting off with the Nintendo. Haven't really bought much for the NES. I've been trying to focus on other things, like if you've seen in that new Dreamcasting series that I'm doing. I'm trying to focus on my Sega Dreamcast collection and completing that. Right now, I've been kind of holding back on Nintendo. I got Bubble Bobble, and the other one is Rescue the Embassy Mission, which is kind of a cool game. I used to play this back in the day. I used to rent it a lot, and one of my friends had it also. It's kind of like a precursor to Rainbow Six, where you play as this like squad of SWAT members who have to infiltrate a building, and there's like different mini games you have to do to get there. There's like a stealth mission where you have to like avoid a spotlight, and there's one where you have to like rappel down a building and shoot someone through a window. In like this first person perspective, you have to go through these hallways and try to kill all the bad guys. It is super fun. It gets repetitive after a while because, you know, after the third or fourth time you've done this sort of thing, it kind of gets stale, but it's really good in little short bursts. But now I'm not limiting myself to NES anymore, because we all know that there was many wonderful games that were left over in Japan that we never got over here. So I've been looking to pick one of these up for a long time, and then Mark on Classic Game Room decided to do a review of a combo system that I did not know existed at all. And basically it cut the cost of having to get these two separate systems down by half, and that is the Sharp Twin Famicom. So it's a Japanese Nintendo, you know, the Famicom, but it also comes with the disk drive built in. And just to get the separate disk drive to attach and connect to a standard Famicom, separately those things would have been about twice as much as this thing cost. This thing cost me just over $100. Yep. I love this thing a lot. It works perfectly fine. I tested it out. It even came with a couple of games. Othello on the disc, and the original Super Mario Bros. 2. The one that was deemed way too difficult for American audiences, because we're just a country of pussies. This thing is amazing. It is really big. It is kind of heavy, but the big issue I have with this system is the controllers, which are slightly smaller than the standard Nintendo ones, come hardwired into the system. I can't have this sitting on my entertainment system and play it clear across the room. I have to pull this onto my coffee table and lean forward like I would when I was a kid to play this thing. But now I can play Legend of Zelda and actually kill the Poles voices with the built-in microphone and controller too. This just opens up a whole new area of collecting for me, which is both good and bad. A lot of the games that I would like to get reproductions for the system are a lot cheaper to just get the Japanese version, and they're already in English, so it's not like it's a really big deal. And plus, a lot of the games that came out for the disc system are fantastic, especially Doki Doki Panic, which is the original version of Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. Must have that immediately. So let's move on to the Super Nintendo. I have been working on my Super NES collection a little bit more than usual. Like I said, a lot of things just kind of happened in a specific way where I happen to have some money in PayPal, and then the price for a game I've been looking for would just like randomly drop on eBay, especially for a couple of these games. Earthworm Jim, classic platformer, super funny, colorful game, great music. It has just got this weird oddball sense of humor that is so much fun. Like I said, I just kept finding people slipping on eBay. That's my superpower. Pick this off of a gentleman on Facebook, The Jungle Book. It's alright. Final Fight, classic brawler. This is one of the first games I had for my Super Nintendo. Can't get enough of it, although it is slow as shit. You might not know the movie series this game is based on. Warlock, starring Julian Sands.
Warlock.
It's kind of loosely based on the movies. You play as like a wizard who is hunting the warlock in the title. Lots of cool spells, lots of cool effects. Platforming is... but it's not that bad. I mean, it could have been better, but, you know, it's an LJN release, so can't expect much. But for what it is not bad. Just like Alien 3. As you saw in my movie video games that don't suck video that I did with Nintendo, I really love the Genesis version. This game is completely different from that. It is a side-scroll platformer where you're doing like these missions where sometimes you have to go and kill a bunch of eggs in an area or go and rescue a bunch of people in another area. The music is really moody and kind of odd. The controls are kind of funky, but the graphics are really well animated. It is super fun. It just gets kind of repetitive with all the missions you have to do. They just kind of like loop over on themselves the longer you play it. I had the Genesis version of this game. I think I showed it off in my last pickup video, but I ended up selling it after playing this version of it. For some reason, I was under the assumption that they were completely different games, just kind of like Alien 3 was for the Genesis and Super Nintendo. It turns out to not be the case. They are the exact same game. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Actually, this one is superior to the Genesis one in every way. The music, the controls, the graphics, everything. Not the greatest game ever, but it's not bad either. It's not like horribly bad like a lot of the Ocean games are.
I've seen many strange things already.
And then lastly is a game that I never in a million years would have rented when I was a kid. And I remember saying, nope, when I would see it on the shelf. That was based solely on the cover. Phalanx. I mean, just look at that cover. Because to like a 16-year-old, that looks like shit. You know, you get older and your tastes change. Nowadays, I find this cover extremely funny because it is so odd. I had to have it. I had to have it. But it's a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, which is super fun and really cool and has great power-ups and it has really good music, really super freaking hard. I haven't really been looking into buying any new Sega Genesis or Sega CD games either, you know, because Dreamcast. But I did get one Genesis game, and that's Superman by Sunsoft. This game sucks. It is so freaking hard. The controls are so wonky, it's just hard to do anything. I mean, I can barely pass the first stage. Sunsoft, what happened to you? Do we need to talk? Little intervention? Because you used to be one of the best developers for those old school consoles. And then, what the hell is this? I have also gotten a couple of Sega CD games. Soul Feast, which is the pack-in game that came with the original versions of the Sega CD. I think it was like the version 1 and the version 2. Oh look, Bram Stoker's Dracula! I keep buying all these Sega CD games, but how am I supposed to play them because I don't have a Sega CD? Well, I took care of that little problem, and I managed to get myself a Sega CD X. It is a Sega Genesis and a Sega CD all in one in this tiny little compact package. Nice space saver, and now I can finally play all those Sega CD games that I've been buying, especially Robo Alesta. From what I understand, you can even hook up a Sega 32X to that. But why would you want to? Still collecting for the TurboGrafx 16/PC engine. Alien Crush, which is kind of connected to Devil's Crush, the pinball game. Except this one has an alien theme to it. I just love video pinball, period. China Warrior. But then there's always Blazing Lasers, which is one of the best shoot-'em-ups I've ever played. Vertically scrolling awesomeness. And I've also gotten some imports. New Zealand Story, which is a port of an arcade game where you play as like a little Kiwi doing all this little platforming bullshit. It's not that great. Parodius Da, which is a parody of all the Konami shoot-'em-ups. So much fun. You get to play as Vic Viper, and you get to play as like a penguin. The first boss is a pirate boat that has a cat's head attached to it. I love it. It's great. It is so weird that it's hysterical. And one of the games that it's making fun of is Gradius 2. This one's on disc. What? Really haven't been doing much in the way of PlayStation 1 also, although I really do need to complete my long box collection. I did manage to pick a few up. The Buster Brothers collection, Populous, the beginning, In Cold Blood, and then Shadow Madness. Let's move into the handhelds now, shall we? Managed to pick up one GBA game. Justice League Heroes The Flash. It's not that bad, but it's not great either. I love the Nintendo DS. I think the dual screens gave the developers a lot of ways to do creative things with games, like Hotel Dusk Room 215, which is like an interactive novel, and to do so, you have to hold your system sideways and open like a book, which is really cool. It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure type of a story. I like it a lot. Lost in Blue, which is kind of like the Blue Lagoon, the video game. Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Get it? The Deadly Silence is DS for a Nintendo DS.
You, the master of unlocking.
And now I can finally see what all the hubbub's about these Phoenix Wright games. Because of the new Star Wars movie coming out, I've really been trying to find as many Star Wars games as I possibly can right now before the Star Wars craze jacks the price up on all these damn things and you can't find anything anymore. Picked up Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron, which is kind of like a dungeon crawly version of Battlefront, which is really fun. I like this one a lot. Unlike the Clone Wars Jedi Alliance. I love the Clone Wars cartoon. Because of this show, I think Ahsoka Tano is one of the coolest characters in the Star Wars universe, bar none. So when you have the ability to play as her in a game, I say, yes, I want it, because I think she's a great character. Too bad the game she's in is garbage. The entire game is controlled with a stylus. It's like a beat 'em up, but in order to do anything, you have to like, drag your stylus along the touchscreen to make your character move. You have to like touch where you want them to go, then they'll go. You want to beat something up, you have to tap the character you want to beat up. It's horrible. Why have controls on the system if you're going to use the goddamn touchscreen to do all the things the controls normally would do, and have it be awkward on top of that? Makes no sense. This game is poop. Power! But then there's Super Princess Peach, which is also one of the more unique games available for the system because it took a character that you never usually play as. I think the last time you played as her was Super Mario Bros. 2, I think, outside of like the Mario Party games. The only thing is, the adventure that she goes on, her powers are her emotions. Slightly sexist, that a woman is just nothing but a big ball of raging emotion. When she gets mad, she burns things. When she gets upset, she cries and makes plants grow, and she runs real fast. When she gets all happy, 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 and joyous, she floats and makes like little tornado spinny things. Aside from that, the mechanics of the game are solid, and it is a lot of fun. I like this a lot more than a couple of the Mario Brothers games I actually own for the DS. And lastly is Steel Princess. Haven't opened it yet, just recently got it. And then the games I've been getting for the 3DS, you know, starting off with that Persona Q limited edition that I picked up last time, I've kind of gone limited edition crazy. This first one's not that impressive, but I love the packaging it comes in. Adventure Time, explore the dungeon because I don't know. It's like a Legend of Zelda clone with the characters from Adventure Time, which is a cartoon I recently started watching and I'm actually finding kind of enjoyable. Number one, it comes with this cool metal packaging. Finn and Jake's Dungeon Guide, which is a companion to the instruction book that comes with the game itself. And it also comes with a DVD with a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff about the making of the game and the show, which is kind of awesome. And then this one just came out. I heard a lot of people talking about it online, and I watched a trailer for it, and I thought it looked fantastic. And I guess it's connected to that Saga series of games, like Romancing Saga and all that. The Legend of Legacy. This is the launch edition. Comes with this awesome hardcover art book. Some of these pictures are freaking beautiful. And it also comes with the soundtrack, which is awesome too. I haven't played it yet because I need to set aside time to play some RPGs. PSP, Exit, Guilty Gear Judgment, which I bought on a recommendation from Scott Squatch from Video Game Sellers. He said he's not much of a fighting game fan, but the reason he'd been searching for this game so long is because not only is it a fighting game, but it also has an adventure mode where it's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up. A side-scrolling beat-em-up in Guilty Gear style? Oh yes, and it is awesome. Another Star Wars game, Lethal Alliance. Get to play as this saucy Twi'lek bounty hunter chick who is awesome, except she keeps on saying yes a lot and reminds me a lot of Jar Jar. Clunky as hell sometimes with the controls, but it's fun, it's neat. If you know how to pronounce this game, let me know. I keep on calling it Yggdra Union, with one of the weirdest subtitles of all time. We'll never fight alone. Hugs. Haven't really been looking for a lot of PlayStation 2 games either, but if I find some that I've been looking for at a good price, I'll pick them up regardless. Godai Elemental Force, which is kind of like a 3D beat-em-up. That's alright. Chaos Legion, which is another 3D beat-em-up. Legion, The Legend of Excalibur, which is another 3D beat-em-up. And last but not least, Tomb Raider, The Angel of Darkness, the game that almost killed the franchise. This game is broken. Original Xbox time. Batman Begins, which I did have for the GameCube, but this is the better version because it is in high def. Star Trek Shattered Universe. Love me some Star Trek. This is like the worst Star Trek game ever made. Medal of Honor Frontline, which is probably my favorite Medal of Honor game, just because you get to do the whole D-Day thing at the beginning. Pirates of the Caribbean, which is developed by Bethesda? What? It's like this open world pirate simulator. Has really nothing to do with the movie, but it's not that bad. It's kind of fun. Alias, which is like a stealth beat-em-up type of a game. It's alright. The Hobbit. Eh. And Brothers in Arms Earned in Blood, which is another World War II first-person shooter. It's okay. So when it comes to the Wii, I'm basically at my limit of games that I want to get for the system because that system is just jam-packed with nothing but shovelware. A lot of the games that are left that I would like to purchase for it are of the more expensive variety, but when I do find them for a good price, I will definitely jump at it. D-Blob 2, Tenchu Shadow Assassins, Shiren the Wanderer, and then these 2 games by Xseed, which I'm finding out makes some of the most creative games for the Wii. Pandora's Tower, and Fragile Dreams, Farewell Ruins of the Moon. You know how I'm always whining about not being able to buy a lot of Xbox 360 games because my Xbox 360 kind of crapped out and I have yet to buy a new one? Well, I'm getting a new one pretty soon. And when I decided that I was going to get one, it kind of coincided with GameStop having a buy 2 get 1 free sale for card members. I really took advantage of it. I was finding games there that I've been wanting to buy for a long time that were like $1, $2, $3. I think the most expensive game I bought there was $8. For the most part, the games I was buying were about $2 and under. I bought a couple that were 50 cents that were actually pretty decent. Shadowrun, not decent. I had this when it first came out. I was so excited about it because I love Shadowrun the tabletop. I love the universe it takes place in. I love Cyberpunk. What the hell was this? It was a first-person shooter that takes place in the Shadowrun universe. Awesome. Turns out it's all online and it's broken. Ninja Gaiden 2, Condemned Criminal Origins, The First Templar, which is a game I'm really looking forward to playing, Chrome Hounds, The Cursed Crusade, Enchanted Arms, The Darkness, Divinity 2, Ego Draconis, 2 Human, which I understand was pulled off of shelves because of the whole Valhalla thing. What? Eat Lead, The Return of Matt Hazard, Ninja Blade, which is awesome, N3, 99 Nights, Dead or Alive Extreme 2, which is a sequel to the volleyball game that was made for the original Xbox, which was all about boobs. And there's nothing wrong with that. Young Justice Legacy, Crackdown 1 and Crackdown 2, The Testament of Sherlock Holmes, which is a really weird game for Atlas to release. And like I said in my top 10 video games of all time when I was talking about Rock Band, I wanted to get all the old games just to have them again. Rock Band 1, Rock Band 2, and the AC/DC Live Track Pack. I've been wanting to buy this game for the longest freaking time, but I can never find it at a good price and in the edition that I got it in. It's always like the greatest hits version of this, and I can't stand that shit. Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition. Everyone tells me how great this game is and how I should be so excited about Fallout 4 coming out for the next-gen systems. Can't get excited when I haven't played any of them, but I wanted the Game of the Year edition because who knows if the add-on stuff is going to be available online forever. This comes with it built in. I'm fine with that, with all the DLC mixed in already. I'm good to go. Jurassic Park, the game by Telltale Games. They've made the Back to the Future games. They made those Walking Dead games that are so popular. The Wolf Among Us. These people are awesome storytellers, and they do it in this really cool cinematic way, and it's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure. But this takes place during the events of the original Jurassic Park with a different set of characters, which is awesome. I can't wait to play this also. Also bought a lot of PlayStation 3 games at the sale. Homefront, Mercenaries 2, World in Flames, which I did have for the 360 back when it first came out because I loved the original Mercenaries for the original Xbox. That was at the point where I was not a fan of open world games that much anymore, and I just couldn't get into it, but I'm back into them again, so let's roll this. Front Mission Evolved, Stormrise, got this for 75 cents. X-Blades, Spec Ops The Line, which is recommended by Metal Jesus, Fear 1, Fear 2, and Fear 3. Saw the video game. I'm not expecting much, but I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I want to play a game. And finally, Nier, which was also recommended by Metal Jesus. That's a lot of games. There's more. Not much on the Wii U front. A lot of these games are still full price, and I usually try to get them after they've been discounted at least once. But I was watching a fellow Chicagoan YouTuber, Adam Koralik, and in one of his episodes, he was talking about this game that got a really limited release to Best Buy and a couple of other places. This game was only available for the Wii U and the PlayStation 4, but he thinks the Wii U version was going to be the one that was going to be the most sought after because no one gives a shit about the Wii U, and once it's gone, everyone's going to be like, I missed out. The Legend of K Anniversary. I do believe this was like a PlayStation 2 game, and this is a remastered one for the next-gen systems. I haven't opened it yet. I don't know if I will, but it looks like a 3D beat-em-up. And of course, the biggest release for the Wii U since Super Smash Bros. Is Super Mario Maker. I've been playing this game pretty much non-stop since I got it. You get to create your own Mario levels from Mario Bros. 1, Mario Bros. 3, Mario World, and new Super Mario Bros. Wii U. And then on top of that, you can share the levels that you make online for other people to play, and they'll rate them and leave comments on them and whatnot. If you go to check out your level later on, you can go and see all the places where people are dying, which is kind of awesome. The level I created is, I think, pretty hard. It's called F to the A. Here's the code to play it. Took me about a day to put it together. It has a very low clear percentage. I love the fact that they put something out that lets people create their own versions of popular video games. I mean, can you imagine if they did like a Legend of Zelda one of these? Or like a Sonic the Hedgehog version? If Nintendo decided to create like this whole Maker series, I'd be totally down for that. And if you pre-order this at certain stores, you would get a certain pre-order bonus depending on where you did it. I didn't pre-order it. I was dumb. Sometimes you can just finagle your way into getting some of the bonuses. So I went to Target to buy this, and I sweet-talked the lady behind the counter. I was like, hey, I hear that you get a certain bonus here if you pre-ordered the game. And she was like, yeah. You have a lot of those pre-order bonuses left over? She's like, well, not a lot of people pre-ordered it, so yeah, we've got like a sack of them. I'm like, they can get me one of those pre-order bonuses? And she's like, yeah, since you're buying one, okay. So I got the Super Mario Maker Rubik's Cube for free. She just gave it to me. I hear that people were actually paying like $5 for them. I got skills. Also picked up a few new PlayStation 4 games. Not exactly retro, but awesome nonetheless. Murdered Soul Suspect. Guilty Gear Xrd Sign. Xrd? What the hell's an Xrd? And I'm not kidding. Xrd. Transformers Devastation, which is made by Platinum Games, the makers of Bayonetta, and can you imagine Transformers characters put into a Bayonetta game? This is the baby that you would have if those two things humped. It looks just like a really cool cel-shaded animated episode that you're interacting with, and it is like a crazy beat-em-up game, like, you know, Final Fight in 3D. You're just beating the crap out of everything, and the combos you can do, and vehicle attacks, and it's just full of G1 goodness. Oh my god. And you think that would be the end of the video, but no, I got more. Oh, what else is there outside of the PS4 except the the Xbox One? Like I said, things just kind of fell into place, and I managed to get an Xbox One, the 1 terabyte Forza edition, which, you know, has a code in it I'm never going to use. Makes vroom vroom sounds when you turn it on. Xbox One for a few weeks. Not really impressed. I really like my PlayStation 4 a lot more. Why? For starters, the Xbox One is huge. And on top of that, it still has that gigantic brick plug, which the PlayStation 4 does not have. The PlayStation 4 is half the size, half the weight, and doesn't have that goddamn brick. Number 2 is installs. When I first put in a PlayStation 4 game into my PS4, it installs within about 30-40 seconds. And it may still be installing in the background, but it allows you to play the game while it's installing with no lag. And the install memory that these games take up is relatively small. Not in the case of the Xbox One. My PlayStation 4 is 500 gigabytes. It's about, of all the games I have, it's filled up to maybe 400. I bought the 1 terabyte Xbox One. 250 gigabytes of it have already been taken up just by the operating system alone, which is ridiculous. When it comes to installing these games, one of them took about 10 hours. Which game was that? Killer Instinct. Why did this take 10 hours to install? I started it at like 5 in the afternoon. It didn't finish until like 3 in the morning. And basically, the whole game is not on this disc. I bought this because I did not want to have to get the online version. I do not like downloadable games. I want to have the physical version on disc. Well, this has the core game on it, but all the characters that are supposed to be included, it is just downloading them off the web and installing them on the system. Why? Why can't they be on the disc? I don't understand it, Microsoft. What the hell? This took 10 hours. Why? Because I was trying to install like 10 different characters all at once, probably, and it was just slow as shit. Don't get me wrong. This game is fantastic. I love it. I love Killer Instinct. It's probably my second favorite fighting franchise ever. This is one of the games I said I needed to get an Xbox One to play. Was it worth the 10-hour download? Yeah. Rise, Son of Rome, Legendary Edition. It's actually a pretty fun game. I liked it a lot. It's kind of like a sword and sandal beat 'em up. It's funny that all the Roman characters are speaking with British accents and calling each other lad. But I already beat it. It was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. It is repetitive. I mean, the combat is just the same thing over and over again. And for a launch game, it was pretty good. There's Saints Row 4, Re-Elected, and Get Out of Hell. Re-Elected is like a remastered version of Part 4 for the last-gen systems, and Get Out of Hell is the DLC. I wanted to get this because Adam Karolak was talking about this also, saying that the PlayStation 4 version of the game came with a code that lets you download Get Out of Hell. And this one had it on the disc. Nope. Install this, and it just downloads it directly off the web and installs it on your system. It's not on the disc. That's some bullshit. I'm sick of that crap. But the worst of them all is the one that I was looking forward to the most, and that was Rare Replay. Rare is probably my favorite developer of all time. They just made nothing but fantastic games from Amstrad, I think, all the way up through current day stuff. A lot of their current stuff was all Kinect garbage. There's some Nintendo games on here. There's Nintendo 64 games. There's Amstrad games on here, some Xbox 360 games, some Xbox games. This is a current gen system. This thing is super powerful. Why couldn't they all be on the disc? You pop this thing in, it took 3 hours because the install was picking up the games, not off the disc, but off the Xbox Live Shop. If I wanted these things installed on my hard drive, I would have gotten them off the store individually. If I wanted them on a frickin' disc, which is why I bought this, they should be on the goddamn disc. What the hell is wrong with you? This thing takes up so much space on my hard drive. I'm like already at like 25% full with just these 4 games. That's ridiculous. Microsoft makes me not want to buy games for your system. But whatever. That is it. You like what you see? You like what I got? You don't like what I got? Whatever. Comment below. Let me know what you think. What are other games I need to be looking for all these different systems? Like, what are games for the Xbox One that are not going to tear a hole in reality to fill up my hard drive? What are some of the levels you've made for Super Mario Maker? Leave the codes for your levels below, because I want to play them. And if you play mine, give it a star. Leave a comment. Be nice. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you like what you see. And share it on social medias. And I'm still talking about doing a Q&A video, so if you have a question you would like me to answer, leave it in the comments below. And until next time, I am Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off. Oh, no, I farted. I need to shake that one out.